Okay, wonderful. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us tonight um, for everything you need to know before becoming an end of life death doula. We're so happy to have you all here because, here you'll get to hear more things as we go through. But, you know, years ago when Pam and I realized what the work that we were already doing was that of a doula, um, wish that we would have had people that would have been honest with us. And so transparency, we're going to give you the good, the bad, the ugly, because I wish somebody else would have been like that with me because it cost me over $3,000. Tell you more about that in a little bit. All right. Well, my name is Anna. I'm the founder of International Doula Life Movement. I have been working in this field for over 25 years. I started when I was 16, started working with my first hospice patient at the age of 16, and continued working through this. Worked hospice inpatient and crisis care team. I currently serve on several hospices as an on-staff end-of-life doula on top of running the school and my private practice, and also a mom. So a fur baby mom and a human mom. So, or should say human moms to 4 other children. So, but I am the creator of the doula certification program that we have here at IDLM. And Miss Pam, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Well, my name is Pam, and I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, and I have done end-of-life work for over 45 years. I was doing end-of-life work before they even called it anything, actually. I came up in the era of when hospice was getting started, and I found myself at the bedside of many, many people that were dying, and I was there either because it was family or because I had been referred to them. And so over the years, I've had a very successful business that's been built on a referral basis. I have got, Anna was talking about her children. I have 4 children. I have 3 daughters and a son, and I have 12 grandchildren. So when Tammy was saying she has 8 little ones that keeps her in San Antonio, that's why I've never left Atlanta, Georgia. Anna and I became friends about, oh gosh, I guess it's going on 6 years ago now, because we met prior to Anna opening the school. I met Anna when it was a dream and she was thinking of doing this, and decided that, yep, I was definitely going to come and be a part of this, because Anna and I have and shared the same passion. We are passionate about educating people the proper way and giving the proper tools so that we can help people have the right death. We all know the medical industry is broken today, and it really isn't broken. It's just totally shattered. And because of that, the world needs us worse than they've ever needed us before. So I am the creator of the advanced planning course. I'm also the creator of a class called 365. And then I co-teach with Anna on the doula course. We are passionate. I was just, when Anna said 25 years, I went, wow, 25, 45, that's 70 years. And when you put the rest of our teachers and instructors here at IDLM, you've got over 230 years of education in end of life. And the one thing that drives us at the school is passion. We're not driven by the money. We're not driven by how much we can make or how many people we can educate. We're driven by how many people come to us that we can help them better their communities. We are community driven, and you will hear a lot about being community driven as we move through this program tonight. And that's why, Tammy, I was teasing with you, because we have such an amazing, amazing group in San Antonio, Texas. And it's just fallen that way because Anna's able to get out and network. So, okay, I know I could go on and on because I am passionate about this subject, but I'm going to shut up and let Anna tell you our story.
Well, our story here at IDLM is, years ago, I realized what I was doing was that of a doula. And so what I did was I decided, like a lot of you are probably looking for programs. And so I decided to take a program that was a pretty well-known program and did so. And when I did that, it was a financial burden for me. The course was about $3,000. And when I left that course saying, Jesus, I just wasted $3,000. And the reason I say that is it was about 12 modules, supposedly giving you business materials, but everything was branded to that person. Everything in that classroom was just little nuggets of information. It wasn't a deep dive. And so I got to meet, and the others that were in that classroom with me, never got to speak to the instructor, because just like we are here today in our Google Meet room where you can ask questions and see me and actually get to talk to me, you get to hear me mess up things, all kinds of good things. It wasn't like that. It was a webinar. And so at times it even sounded like that person was just flipping on a switch and just playing a video of them speaking. It didn't feel live. It didn't feel interactive. And so I met those students that were in that classroom, and guess what? I ended up mentoring about, I'd say close to 30. I know it was over 20 for sure of those students in there. And they all were leaving that program. And mind you, they all had different backgrounds, but they all were leaving that program saying, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do next. I don't know where to start. I don't feel like I have the knowledge base to even go out and do this. And I'm thinking, that's a problem. You just spent $3,000. How is it you don't have the tools you need? And so it really quite upset me. I was already mad that I spent that money. And then to hear that from other people, and it's just got to change. So because doula schools or doula training in general we're non-governed, right? There's no governed bodies like nurses and doctors and x-ray techs and different, things out there. So I said, there's got to be some way to do this better. And so I embarked on a journey of speaking to about 30 different doulas around the world. And I asked them, what did they like about their program? What did they not like about their program? What would they like to have seen? And the biggest comebacks that I got were cost, support, community. So there we go. IDLM was then born in December, a little over 3 years ago. And our first class had 49 students. Started off with a 12-week program. And so I had to open up another class, and that was in February. That one had about 39 students. And then we continued just growing from there. So we went from a 12-week module program, because I knew when I launched, there was going to be some new things, some tweakings and things, to now a 28 module program. So just a little bit about our story and how we came to be. We have graduated probably by May, if I'm not mistaken, we would hit probably close to 1,000 students. We have students across the world. Like I mentioned earlier, we have students from Scotland, Finland, Iceland, Canada, Malaysia, Singapore. We have students all across the world. So what is an end-of-life doula? So a lot of y'all probably, as y'all probably know, we're non-medical. We're professionally trained to care for a person's emotional, physical, spiritual, holistic needs during the process. But something that we believe here at IDLM is to train doulas to not just focus on the end of life, but that people need, just as all of us here on this screen tonight, we all need a doula now. We need a doula now, so that they can start helping to do pre-planning, to start opening these conversations around death and dying. Well, who do they want if something was to happen to them around their bedside? What are their favorite smells? What are the things that they dislike? These conversations need to happen now, not later. So we encourage our doulas to start working with clients now, getting advanced planning done, making sure all their paperwork is in order, having that plan now. So as an end-of-life doula, like I shared a little bit before about doing the before stuff, we're there to create a sacred space and provide emotional and spiritual support. Our biggest job as a doula, let me tell you the two key biggest things: relationship and listening. If you can do those two things and have those support system within you to do those things, you're going to make a great doula out in your community. We're there to also educate, to guide people through this journey of what's to come. Educate about the importance of funeral planning, giving them those funeral options that are out there in your community. Educating them about making sure all their paperwork and why you want to have this form or that form. Because I'll tell you, and we'll share a little bit more later, that advanced planning goes beyond your state directives. A good planning, a doula that's doing advanced planning, life planning doula, will spend over 40 hours with a client preparing. There's more to just knowing about going out and doing these things, but we need to be there to answer questions and educate about the dying process and the disease process, reinforce what our medical system is doing. We are also an advocate for our clients and their families. I can't tell you how many times that I have run into people and they'll ask me, what do you do? And I'm like, I'm an end-of-life doula. And they're like, okay, what is that? And then I tell them, and they always say, man, I wish I would have known you back, blah, blah, blah. I took a Lyft ride. I had a car issue and I was going back to my mechanic. Told the Lyft driver what I do. He said, man, I wish I would have had you 7 years ago when my wife was going through terminal cancer. I felt so lost, didn't know how to navigate the system. As a doula, we're there to do that. We're there to provide support and guidance and be a listening ear. We're also there to help with legacy work. A lot of people think legacy work is expensive or it's something you have to do a long time of doing. No, simple things of having your client share. You can share a painting. One of our doulas did this with one of her clients. She had a very, very beautiful painting, and client, she recorded the painting and the client in the background explaining why that painting was so important to her and why she was leaving it to whoever she was leaving it to. There's a lot of different things that was to be there for. Grief support that seems to happen always organically. Helping and explaining the patient rights. Let me ask you, not many people will go to their doctor's office and read their Bill of Rights. The little paper, you know, that's a part of that big stack of paperwork that they give you, or now they're using those tablets. Not many people read those or even understand what they say. As a doula, we can explain to them what your local state rights are for being a patient, and working through that. They need to know that. As a doula, we can also be there for companionship. You know, our elder population is growing, and so many people are, and this also has to go through. I've seen so much, y'all, and especially in the last couple months, I've been working with some clients and my own family, myself, and we've been hearing that after they released the pandemic, a lot of people who used to qualify for even Medicaid or other state services no longer meet the criteria to qualify, and they need help. They need help to navigate the system. And we've even had, a friend of mine was telling me she helps me with a lot of my clients that have to do Medicaid paperwork, and she tells us what we need to do. She was even telling me that even children are having issues to being covered, that the same parent for several kids, and only a few of the kids will get the Medicaid, while some may not even qualify. And they're like, how is that even possible? You're using the same income of that person. So they need people to help advocate for them and to be there and guide them and support them and say, no, let me help you do this, because it's draining, y'all. It is draining. So doulas are non-governed. And I know I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but there is no accreditations for doulas and doula programs. I have seen out there that there are places that will say they're accredited. Okay, what they may be accredited for are for holistic programming. I've noticed that a few of our outside source out of the US and some of our general other countries. Australia seems to be one that will say they're accredited, but what I am finding is they are not covering everything for doula. They're coming over here and taking our program because they're not covering everything they need to know. And honestly, I'm still trying to figure out that whole portion about them being accredited, because I'm sorry, that's a red flag. This is a non-governed, there are no governed bodies over doula work. So I don't see how there can be an accreditation. And if you find one here in the United States, that is a big flag for you, or even Canada, that is a big flag for you to run. I will tell you.
Including certifications.
I'm sorry?
Including certifications as well. Because I'm seeing programs that say that you can get certified under their program, and I'm wondering how they're certifying you if they're not accredited, and they're saying they're credited as well.
No, look,
okay.
I'm going to be, so remember I told you I was going to give you the good, bad, and the ugly?
Yeah.
So the term certified has been out there, but you could technically go out there and be a doula and not go get training. But
Correct.
Should you? I think you should. Not because I'm an owner of a school, and we have students on here that will tell you why. But we give you a certificate that says, yes, you are certified, but certified honestly does not really mean much. I'm just being truthful. And I guarantee you probably no other program will tell you that.
So basically, it's a diploma that you pass a training program, but it's not an accreditation certification that you can put on your wall.
Right,
for.
because there is none. There is none.
Now,
Okay. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I will add this. There are no truly accredited schools at this time. However, we will eventually have to have accreditations. And what we do at IDLM is all our teachers are what we call boots on the ground. Every one of us own our own business. Anna owns her own business. I still own my own business. All our teachers are actively working in this field on a day-to-day basis. So when we're teaching and instructing, our instructions are coming from today's need, from today's knowledge, from today's medical field that we're seeing is so broken. We do this because when the time for accreditation comes, we will have had a program that's in place that's covering all the basis of what's going on today. We have instructors that are in place that have the backgrounds to discuss this. They are not someone that took a doula course. Anna and I just saw one of these spring up the other day. Someone that took a doula course and now has opened a doula school when they didn't have any doula background to begin with. And this is what we're seeing in the industry. We are preparing our students so that when it comes time for accreditation, you're going to have what you need. Just like nurses and doctors and all the medical industry has to go for continuing credit hours, we've started including, we've got our continuing education hours in place and have been doing this for 3 years. And we do this, and Anna will talk more about this after a while about the movement. But we are a step ahead. Like Anna said, we tell the good, the bad, and the ugly. And last year we were standing at an elevator when one of the executive directors of one of the bigger well-known schools and education groups was standing there. And she turned around and she looked at me and Anna and she said, okay, I'm just going to ask you, we're all wondering, how do you do what you're doing? We looked at her and said, what do you mean? How are you doing what you do? And it's like, because we do it from passion, because we want to make sure that the education is there. We're doing it because you ladies have traded 60, 90 minutes of your life tonight to learn about doula education, to learn about something that's interested you. And if that's something you're looking at, we want to give you everything we can give you in the most honest way possible, because we have nothing to gain but everything to lose. And what do we lose? We lose the fact that somebody decides, maybe this isn't where I want to go, or maybe this isn't the group I want to be in, or worse yet, maybe I'm not really cut out to be a doula. That's when we lose. But we gain when we send you into your community with the education and the knowledge and all the tools you need to go talk to your senior groups. And we'll talk about things like that. But getting out in your community and being able to educate. And when you're there, Melissa, you're representing yourself. I mean, we got strong presence in San Antonio, but Tammy would be representing herself. She wouldn't be representing, and branded by us. She would be Tammy. And hopefully along the way, as you guys talk to others, you'll share where you got your education. That's when we get to pat ourselves on the back and go, hey, they mentioned us. How wonderful. But we don't brand you so that you have to mention us. Does that kind of clear that up?
Oh yeah, perfectly.
Thank you.
And that kind of really leads into here what we're going to talk about with the doula programs versus non-doula programs. That's another thing that you need to be mindful about. Now, many programs have even called themselves the doula programs, and they're not. What they are more of exploring your mortality or a spiritual journey. That is a big issue that we are seeing quite often. Also, the fact that they're trying to say or sell you that they're giving you everything you need. Well, I don't have to sell you. I can show you. I can take you into our community app and show you. I can show you that Barbara Carnes was just here last weekend, this last Sunday with us. I can show you the different leaders that we have to come in and guest speak to our community, that they do this all for free. I can show you. And as a trainer and as a doula, we're constantly hearing from our students all the time is that what we call the skin the surface syndrome. Many programs may be appearing that they are giving you everything you need, but they're only touching the surface of information. They're not giving you your full information. One of our students was telling me, hey, Anna, you know what? You cover pediatrics in a whole entire classroom module. It's a whole class. Last program that I went to, it was 2 slides about pediatrics. You take almost 2.5 hours to talk about pediatrics. So that's where we're talking about the skimming the surface. Some of the oldest programs are doing this, and they're skimming the surface, and what we also now start calling bank robbers. They're taking students' money. Just happened to me. What has happened to Pam? Ro, I think this has probably happened to you too. Is they take your money and they run. Well, you know what? What school will give you the personal cell number of the founder of the programming of the school? What program gives you the personal number for the director? Instructors that will say, hey, yeah, here's my cell phone, call me, and I'm happy to answer any questions for you, or I'm happy to help you. Where can you go into a community app where you can reach over 900 doulas across the world and get support? So that's what we're talking about. It is really, I have students that will tell me, Anna, you need to charge way more for your program. I'm like, no, I want to keep it affordable for people. Yes, I understand we have to be paid, but at the same time, I want to make it a affordable way for everyone who is called to doing this work, and for every doula out there to go and get that support that they need, and to have someone that they can turn their back to. And then I just looked up and I saw Tammy, and I wanted to say this. It's like, for example, Tammy, here in San Antonio, a lot of students will go with me, graduates will go with me and do write-outs with me when I go and see my hospital clients, my private clients. Well, guess what? Some people out there are charging doulas to be able to do stuff like that, to go and shadow them or to mentor them. Well, guess what? You came and took the program. Why wouldn't I want you to be successful? So it's really everywhere. I mean, we try to connect you with different students or graduates in the area as well. And just like Pam had mentioned a few minutes ago, that certifications are not required, but many individuals are based on their prior experience. And these individuals may have practiced 10, 15, 20 years ago. And you know what? I will tell you, one of my students had said, Anna, I went to this discovery thing with somebody, and somebody had asked, do you still actively work as a doula? And you know what their response was? No, I'm too busy teaching, educating. Well, guess what? Here at IDLM, we still have our private practices. We're still out in our community. People are calling. I have to pass my private clients to graduates and have my graduates be my backup in my community, because I'm still actively practicing. This is why we update our programming. Like member had said at the beginning, when we started out IDLM, we started off with a 12 module. Well, now we're up to 28 module. And I promised, well, there's one other module I'm going to add, but yeah, because instructors are about to kill me. But after that, then there is going to be an advanced doula program later on, where we're going to really focus on some other areas. But the doula program has been added, and new information and the new regulations of things in the outside world get updated. So guess what? All of our students and graduates, once they buy the program, they get those updates for free. So those people that paid for the 12 module pricing years ago, what? They get what everybody's been updated to now. And they don't have to turn around and pay. Why am I going to make you pay when you've already paid? That just doesn't make sense to me.
Here's a curiosity question. This will show you just, I think, in one simplified step. When you think about advanced care planning, I'm sure you're all familiar with, this is the document that you get that the doctor hands you and says, fill this out, bring it back, we're going to put it in your file. First of all, did anybody really sit and explain it to you? No, that's what a doula does. And since you know about that advanced directive, do you think there's only one advanced directive, or do you think there are other additional directives that every person needs to have in place? Any idea how many there are that you need to be aware of? I see you counting there, Melissa. I see you. I saw that finger go up in the air.
I was thinking like 3 or 4.
There's 6.
Whoa, okay.
There are 6 that you need to be aware of. And in all reality, everybody needs all 6. Now, can you get somebody to do all 6? Generally not. But there are 6 directives that are there that need to be included in your advanced directive to protect you at end of life. But people don't talk about that. They have programs where they say, we're going to teach you about advanced directives. All you need to know in 2 hours. And I just die laughing, because in 2 hours, we've just begun to lay a foundation in a 17-week course with over 40 hours of education live. And that doesn't count what's in your portal.
Well, and not, that really brings up a good point too, Pam, that I was thinking about someone I was talking to, and they went to another training program. Somehow or another, we connected. We've been, we talk here and there. She called me the other day because she was going to ask me about a program that she saw, and she saw that we were a partnership with them. And so I gave her the truth about it and everything. But one of the things that, talking about advanced planning is, and about good practices versus bad practices. For example, we tell our doulas not to go and do not notarize those documents.
Oh, no.
And the reason we tell you that is because what if the long lost cousin says, well, but you were their doula and you notarized their paperwork. I want to come after you now. Mm-hmm. So we tell you things so that, one, it's a better ethical practice. Number 2, it'll keep you as the doula out of trouble. I saw something today about a person that has started a doula school, and the article was talking about that oh, I can go in and I can give medications and I can do vital signs and I can do this and that. I'm thinking, you are just now screwing the rest of us as doulas and doula programming. This is why eventually we feel that there will be some type of accreditation eventually coming, because there are people out there teaching wrong practices, and there are people out there that are giving wrong advice. I have caught students who have told me, Anna, I just heard a doula tell the wrong information about end of life to somebody. And they can pull out the book and show them, hey, because we encourage our students to purchase several books. It's through Barbara Carnes, and one's the Care Plan. And it's here from Barbara Carnes that says this, and this person is actually telling them something different. There was another student who told me that, and this is the second time I've been told this, another school is, their students are telling people, and Pam has run into this too, telling them that their program is actually the only certification program out there that's valid. And that's not true.
true.
That's not true. Y'all, we hear all kinds of stuff. I mean, crazy stuff doesn't surprise us anymore. But again, we're preparing for that eventually. So we want to make sure that all of our trainings go beyond just how to sit bedside or how to comfort the dying. We offer training that is current so that our students are prepared, our community is prepared when that becomes necessary.
So we can clarify that it's non-medical. Even if you have a medical background and you are an RN, LPN, whatever, that is not crossing over into this.
Clear boundaries.
Right.
Yeah.
Clear boundaries.
It's two separate professions, and they are professions.
Right.
A doula is a profession to be respected. And can everybody be a doula? No. Can everybody sit bedside? No. Can everybody be a registered nurse? No. Can everybody be an LPN? No. If you're a nurse, you're a nurse. But if you're a doula, you're a doula. And really and truly, we love it when, and I don't think we've got any nurses here, and I hope not, but we really love it when you don't have that medical background, because it really keeps them screwing you up. Because as someone with a medical background, you want to blend those two, and you have to learn that no, you do not practice medicine. You do not practice law. That is not what we do.
I do have a medical background. I have 20 years in the field, but I knew going in, this is non-medical portion, and I'm just using my experience and my knowledge to be able to do the medical advocate part for helping them planning. I'm not going to be giving medications, and I'm not going to be injecting them. And I did see an advertisement today for another program that said that you're a medical aid as well as a doula. And I thought, what? Wait a minute. They can't do that.
I bet you saw the same thing that set Anna and I on fire today.
Yeah, it was messing with my head a little bit. So,
but that's what we're talking about. That's what's going to end up to having those accreditations, is because there's a clear define. And I mean, we have nurses, doctors, surgeons that have come and take our, a part of our community. And I love having them in the life classes because I also come from a medical background, but my medical background is different from the things that you have seen and the things that I've seen. And you know what? Guess what? We can take that and learn from that together and help those that maybe don't have a medical background to say, hey, yeah, if you see this, call hospice right away. Or, instruct your clients to be mindful of this and they need to call hospice right away, whatever the case might be. And that's where you have to make a clear boundaries. Clear boundaries, just like doulas have a clear boundaries. Hospices for a while were getting, their underwear in a bunch because they were like, well, we've had doulas come in and try to think that they're hospice. And it's like, no, we have a clear road. Think of a one-way road, right? You have one way of traffic going this way and one going the other way. So we have to keep clear boundaries. It's important. And you'll be respected for it. Exactly. You will be respected for it, So talking about, certification and offering, and that's what we really offer here, it is really helping, whether you're a well-trained doula that has the knowledge for planning for the future events or immediate needs, but also for those clients that have chosen families in all aspects and preparation and helping them prep. And, we set the stage for all different types of situations, it's important to know also that doula work with the family never ends. And as long as the family needs support, we're there to support them. A doula really becomes a part of the family, just like any other professions that they come to depend on. Think about it. Doctors, lawyers, insurance agencies, and the list goes on. But a doula business, a trusted family member that is always, we're like a trusted family member that's always available when the time comes and they need to call us. We learn about the family over the years, and we're able to not only, we're able to assist, not only, help them with the knowledge of the family, past histories and things like that, but we're there to help comfort and guide them through that. And that's where our being professionals really come into play. A lot of people will say, well, how do I know if this is something that is called, this is something for me? Well, again, like I was sharing earlier, and I think we kind of hit on this really well, is that if you can be a good listener and if you can be a person that can build relationships, and you can be support and an advocate. That's what people really need out there. They need someone to sometimes be their voice. Sometimes they just need you to listen so they can get it out their chest. We don't always have all the answers, but every new case, and I say this, every single case that I work with, a client, a family, a patient from the hospice, whatever, it's something different, and it always ends up preparing me for somebody else that I help down the road, because I'm like, I went through this. This is what we had to do. This is the resource person we need to call, by, whatever that case might be. So, and especially being non-judgmental. Recently I had seen someone that has started a school that very religious based, which is great. Hey, but the problem that I felt was, we are non-judgmental. So it doesn't matter if you're Hindu, Muslim, Catholic, Christian, non-denominational, was it paganism? Am I saying that correct? Paganism? It doesn't matter what your religion is. I'm not going to try to convert you to anything. I'm here to just come in and be, I love you who you are. And that's what a doula does, is we love the people where they're at, no matter what their religion is. So it was a very religion-based programming. It's the same religion I'm in, but would I do it? Heck no, because I have to meet people where they're at. Not only to say I'll throw it in, but also it's set up like an L&M, was it MLM? MLM. There you go. I saw that part. I was like, whoa, I was really blown back. But yeah, it was. I was like, wow, this is a new one. But so I want to point this out real quick, where it says right here, becoming a funeral, death care, or end-of-life professional is not a valid poverty. You deserve to earn a living serving others during one's most difficult times in their lives. Stop letting society guilt you into thinking that you don't. Now, some people come in and they want to serve people and not charge, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. There's clients that I don't charge. There's clients that I get paid for. It's a mix, but what I do see, and what I've seen, especially when I was in the inpatient unit, our hospice inpatient unit, we'd have somebody that maybe had terminal agitation or restlessness going on, and they would say, call us. The family, it's your responsibility. You need to call a sitter because we don't have the staff to sit here and watch your loved one. We'll come in, give meds, keep an eye over, but we don't have time to sit here and be keeping them from falling out of the bed. Well, why not hire a doula that's been trained, that will try different things? Sitter, go through these sitter companies, that's what they're going to do. Just that, is sit. So, also about doulas making money is that you have to commit yourself. I'm not going to lie to you, okay? I'm not going to lie. You need to market out yourself. You need to be in your community. We work with students all the time that have full-time jobs, and let me tell you, they go to marketing events on their lunch. They go to evening marketing events. We help them find those. There's a lot of different ways to work around it. There is a lot of different ways to work around it, but I can only speak for myself here at IDLM. We have a free business 101 that is included within our program. It's 7 modules. We do it live several times throughout the year. We also, it has workbooks and all that good stuff. So it is self-paced, but we do offer it live several times out of the year. And then we have our mentoring, our IDLM mentoring. So we have a monthly coaching call where students can jump in and get in the hot seat and ask questions, or if they're working on an idea, they can put it through the rest of their peers here, and we can say, oh, I did something similar. What really worked for me was blah, 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 So helping each other and working. We strongly, strongly, strongly believe in community. Strongly believe in community here at IDLM. And I'll take you into our community app here in just a bit. So here at IDLM, we do send you out a certificate that says you're certified. But again, we've talked about that. What we do cover in our programming is several areas: companion, life planning, end of life, and contemplative. Contemplative is being a state of going in before grounding yourself before you go into working with the client, releasing all that stuff after you're done working with that client. We do talk about that. You do receive future updates. You do also receive discounts on other courses. So if you decide, hey, we let you decide what you want to include in your practice. Only you know what's best for you. So if you want to go into the grief program, you can go into the grief program. You can go into the advanced planning program. You can go into our dementia programming. We have a pediatric that specifically focuses on pediatrics, and we give you discounts for that. As well as we also have workshops that take place that are free. We do a birthday bash every January. We do a summer summit every summer. We also now we're super excited. We have a conference that is going to be taking place in November here in San Antonio, and then we'll be moving it around the world here. So we have leading industry people coming in to train, and this is not, oh, let's come down and have a party. No, we are going to be jam-packed Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday of training with leading industry people in this industry. So the type of formats that we do offer is we have a live class, which is online. Okay, and our next one is in April 20th. Then we have in-person classes. Now we do in-person classes here in San Antonio, in Austin. We will be starting Katy in the fall. Hopefully that should be a good go. Virginia in the fall. We're growing it out. We just signed a new partnership with Karen and Quinlan Hospice, and so we will be working with them to provide doula training out in New Jersey. Then we do also have our self-paced program, which is always open, and you can sign up for that anytime. I'm going to skim the surface real quick on this just for a moment, just for time being, because I do have a little something I want to share with y'all. So basically our programming, we cover everything from ethics, scope of practice, LGBT practices, inclusivity practice, our contemplative doula, getting in touch with your mortality, death discussions. One of our partners has a self-study module here, which is we teach you how to utilize the death deck and the EOL deck. We have, and you get a discount code for that. If you just choose that you want to purchase their decks, she does a really great training. It's amazing. We talk about the stages of end of life. That's actually broken up into 3 parts. We have a lovely partnership with Barbara Carnes. Just like I said, last Sunday she was here with us. Or this last Sunday she was here with us. She comes in and out. She's actually going to be here in San Antonio, but she does a lot of different training stuff for us and workshops and things. But we do have licensing rights to show you this is how people die, which is a $300 value itself that we share with you. It's done over a course of the 2 modules. We do doula apprenticeship, and you're probably thinking, what in the world is doula apprenticeships? Well, let me tell you. So what we do is throughout the program, we have apprenticeships, and in that apprenticeship, you are going to do the doula role. Our students, we just started this year, our students are loving it. Students who have taken our program in the 1st and 2nd year have said, Anna, the program was good, but my gosh, you leveled it, you raised the bar. And I said, yeah, we did. We wanted to raise the bar. So we do have these apprenticeships. You go out in the breakout rooms. If you're on a live class, if you're on a self-paced, you will have to do the activity on your own, but you can always reach out to people in the movement, and other doulas are always happy to work with you, because we always say practice makes perfect. So we hope to, what our students have said is that it boosts their confidence in doing these apprenticeships. It helps them to understand the role. It helps them to practice it. So it's just been an overall great, amazing thing to do. We will cover grief. We do lay a foundation. We have a whole other grief program that's 14, 16 weeks, something like that. Sorry, we got like 8 programs and I can't keep them all straight. I apologize. And they keep increasing. So I just said, go check the website. But pediatrics went from originally a 6-week program to I think now it's going to be an 8 or 12-week program. We talk about companion doula, communication, teledoula, eulogies, vigils, medical aid in dying, VSED, home wakes, cremations, green options. I mean, we just really dive in. We also have a beautiful partnership with DoulaSupport, which allows doulas to get 6 months free and we work through using the Doulato system, but it is an online system that you as a doula can actually run your business through. You can make notes, you can send resources to your families, they can pay your invoices. It's amazing. You get it for 6 months free. After that, it's $9.99, I think, or $10 basically. So we do take a pretty deep dive here. And of course, I don't want you ever leaving our program thinking, I don't know what to do next. What's my next step? I know now how to be a doula, but what do I do next? No, you will not do that, because we go through, I'm a doula practitioner, and we talk specifically what your next steps are, as well as you are always able to reach out to us. Text me, call me. I've spent several hours today with students on the phone just asking me questions as they're getting their practice up and running. You're always welcome to reach out to me, or we're happy to help you, work with you one-on-one, and make sure that you are moving full speeds as you need to. So in our program, we do have assignments. We do have a case study that all students do. It's amazing. We just had a weekend of case studies. Our Saturday cohort just did their case studies this last weekend. And my gosh, they were amazing. Every cohort, they just keep getting better. We have quizzes, and the quiz and exam is open book for you. So how would y'all like to see one of those case studies and kind of get a picture of what a doula role could look like? Would that be okay if I share this with you? Perfect. All right, here we go.
Hiya, my name is Isabel, but my friends and family always called me Izzy. Up here, they try and be a little more formal, but I can be a bit rebellious. So it's Izzy up here too. I was right. Heaven is what you want it to be. I get to have my barefoot toes in the sand every day. It truly is heaven. I want to take a minute and tell you a little story. Not your typical fairy time bedtime story, but more so about someone who helped me live the best death of my life. So forgive me in advance if I get a little choked up. A little background. I was mad. I was angry. Boy, I was confused when the doctor looked me in the face and said that my stage 4 cervical cancer had gone into my bones. My brothers, Doug and Kevin, and my mother were immediately by my side. You know, I love my brothers when I made them powers of attorney back when I did my advance directive. I'm a planner by nature, you see. Best I can anyway. But life sure does have a way of throwing a wrench in that planning sometimes. All right, sorry, back on track. The doctor told me he wanted me to consider hospice. Those 7 letters scared me to death, literally. So I wanted to chat with my family about that decision. But the pain just became, oh God, it was just so much. So they admitted me into their inpatient unit. And I'm not gonna lie, the morphine and the Ativan became my very best friends. Mom and the boys decided they never wanted me to be alone, even though I was in a 24-hour care facility. So they brought in an end-of-life doula. Her name was Heather, and I remember the first time she walked into my room. I was certainly apprehensive, but my family reassured me and reminded me that God had my back. She certainly wasn't there to add confusion. Mom actually said she did an incredible job explaining how she would support all of us, what her rates were. It was all spelled out in a contract. She had talked with Mom and knew a lot about me already, but she wanted to talk to me too. She wanted to know how things were. Wasn't too excited about sharing a lot of stuff, but she said it was important and it was a good thing to do. It would even help eliminate stress on my family. She asked me about my diagnosis, what my thoughts were, how I was feeling. She knew details like Doug was my main power of attorney and that my advance directive was in my file she had created. She knew I was safe in a hospice and that my family was very engaged. She took all of that and developed a care plan. That girl listened a lot. I wish I had thought to ask her about herself and her family, but she stayed completely focused on us. Heather was gentle, honest, and spoke in a plain non-medical language. Mom says she wasn't a medical professional, but she certainly followed HIPAA to a T, and I was grateful for that. Heather never crossed any lines. She let the doctors and nurses do my medical. She let the chaplain do my faith. She was just there for us. Even went to get dinner a few times. Needless to say, since Kevin was in charge of paying, they got Chick-fil-A a lot. Boy, that boy loves him some sandwiches. I'm not gonna lie, I miss him too. And she never took sides, even when Kevin and Doug were quarreling. She just wouldn't pick a side. She just pulled out of her magic bag a pamphlet and let them look over it, and they figured out the answer all on their own. In that bag, it was something like out of a Mary Poppins movie. She could pull anything out of it, from Kleenex to the Bible. I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to die at home, and that was my goal. Being in a monitored facility is great, I guess, and they definitely do their best to make it homey. But let's be real, it ain't. Not only were they in and out, I had lots of visitors. Heather had asked how I felt about that, so she was gracious to them and allowed them time, answered their questions, even referred them to resources. She never, ever predicted my death. She just told them, yes, Izzy is dying. You know what else is cool? When they called to ask to come visit, Mom and Heather told them to bring Ostromaris flowers. My room was filled with them. They were so beautiful, more than you will ever know. Things were starting to get worse, and the pain just kept increasing. I'll admit I started losing my faith and questioning the heck out of God. I was a good woman. I volunteered at a homeless shelter, the Boys and Girls Club. Those kids had my heart. But God was losing mine. She just sat there and listened. She seemed to absorb so much and thought about things that we never would have, like asking me if there was anybody in particular I wanted to see. I emphatically remember saying yes, yes. She looked at me with pure joy in her heart and asked if she could get my kids from the Boys and Girls Club on a Zoom call. And that girl made it happen. I put on my bravest face, and I remember looking at those 5 beautiful souls, told them I believed in them and I'd watch over them. Cried like a daggone baby when we were finished, but it filled me with such love. I remember that night, Heather looking at me and asking me how bad my pain was. I didn't lie. It was like she could already tell. It was horrific. It was then that she asked how I guess really how I was feeling about my struggles with God. When I couldn't get the words out, she asked if I wanted the chaplain to come in. I hadn't realized it, but it was what I needed. And she made it happen. And she just sat there holding my hand as the chaplain began to restore my faith. I still don't know what her religious beliefs were, because to her, the only ones that mattered were mine. My mom had always been my biggest supporter, and being in the room so often was wearing her down. Heather looked at her with such compassion and explained that if we don't take care of ourselves, we can't take care of others. Even she made sure to take care of herself because she always wanted to have the energy and the heart to help others. Mom finally went home. She took a shower and a nap. There were times when I didn't understand what was going on around me. I think my body knew I was dying, and I know the pain was beyond what any human should have to endure. Heather always supported the hospice advice and even shared with them that my pain was unbearable. They were fantastic, but I really think she and I truly connected, and I still believe it was her and her concerns that convinced them to put me in that induced coma. I remember so many internal battles, just so many. And I remember drifting off into that coma, but I can't tell you how grateful I was not to be in pain anymore. I knew God had me then and that Heather had my family. But let's not get it twisted. I had always heard that hearing was the last sense to go. You know what? They're right. Things were a little fuzzy, but I could feel the beautiful energy in that room and hear those sweet words coming from the mouths of the ones I loved. Everyone was around me when I took my last breath. It was far sooner than I had ever hoped. I was 39 years old, 3 weeks from my diagnosis, and boom, I was gone. But you want to know something super cool? Angels have power. I was able to witness things to this day that I find amazing. Heather's contract was written and paid in advance, but when my passing happened so much sooner than expected, Heather gave Mom part of her money back. That's honesty and confidence. That girl documented everything. Mom literally had a play-by-play. While Heather didn't have to share her notes with her, she did. Heather sat there and typed my obituary out based on what I had told her and the information Mom gave her. I told everyone about my love for travel, and art, and music, and dance. My favorite songs were played at my funeral, and Heather even suggested that my artwork be displayed for everyone to see. And it was a little embarrassing. I remember watching from afar, and I was completely blown away at all Oscar Mary's flowers. How could they find so many? Doug and Kevin handled most of the details, but Mom and Heather put the extra touches on it. It was then that I pretty much understood why Heather was so inquisitive. She was inquisitive while I was laying in that bed, really just not completely understanding why she was asking me those questions. But she wanted things to be perfect. She wanted them the way I wanted them. She had everything at her fingertips to guide my family through the whole process. If she didn't, she figured it out. She didn't come to my funeral. She was with another young woman who needed her, but she checked in several more times with Mom and helped her with grief support. You know, it's not so bad here in my little piece of heaven. I miss my family, but I know they and Heather helped me live the best death of my life. Well, it's time for me to go. I'm being fitted for my wings shortly. These training ones are a little awkward and kind of itchy, but they're letting me get pink ones. I'm super excited. And I gotta do something about this music up here. I need a little more fun.
So I hope that this gives you a little bit of an idea of what it can potentially look like for you. Again, all doulas, and that's the great thing about doula work is that all of our practices are different. My practice is different from Pam's. My practice is different from Rose. We all have a different practice, and that's great because there's always someone that needs what we have to bring to offer to help support families and clients. So some perks here at IDLM is we do offer you the free business 101 with our doula program. We have a Google Meets online graduation, just like we're here today. We do send you a physical certificate, and you also can get a completion online with the system that we have. We do have a free listings of IDLM doula directory on our website. We have a book club society and continuing education and ongoing support and free updates to your course. We even offer free monthly grief support for our doulas because we feel strongly that, you know, we're working with some heavy things and doulas need to be supported too. So whether it's a client that you've worked with or you have your own grief that you're going through, we do offer a monthly grief support group for that. We have monthly death talks. We have different family events and state groups. It's amazing. And what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and take you into my community app here through my login. Switch screens here. Give me 1 second. All right, so this is our community app. It's just like a Facebook for doulas. There's a feed here. People share all kinds of stuff here. Excuse me. Sorry about that. My allergies. We have events here. So you can actually go back and hit past, and you'll be able to see our past events. So that CE night that I was telling you about, we have that there. But this one I will tell you, because we did watch her new rules for end of life that is in our CE tab that we give all of our students. There's our death positive talk. We recently just had a book author come in. We did a free training with the ladies from Odontocare, which is the care plan. We had a free CE night for abuse and neglect for doulas, working on with diverse clients. So a lot of great stuff. You can actually just click it, and then you'll see the YouTube link there, and you just click it and you can watch. So you'll be able to see past events that we have here. Over here, you'll see that we have different groups. We have student success and continued learning. So there's a lot of different workshops and business things, industry discussions, mindsets and habits, professional shares. We also have our course groups. So if you come into the doula program, for example, our doula program has a group here for that class so everybody can stay connected. We do have weekly discussions over things that we've learned. We do also have, if you decide, oh, I want to take advanced planning course, well, then you can go right in there and you'll be able to join that group. So this one right here where it says IDLM course groups, those are the ones for any other paid courses that you may take. But then we have all these other groups as well, our mentoring, our book club, our grief support, all that great stuff, religions and diversity group. So a lot of great things. You can message, you can, it's just like Facebook, really. So, but I do want to open up. I know we have, Ro, would you like to share anything with them today about your experience in being here with IDLM?
Sure. My experience has been amazing. I'm not quite sure. I don't think I found IDLM. I think they found me. I'm a holistic women's wellness practitioner and Reiki master for 25 years. I began doing hospice work 14 years ago, and I'm also a grief doula and educator and a graduate of IDLM for their end-of-life doula program. And it enhanced my knowledge and my skills even more than I originally anticipated it to when I found them. And I happened to be on Facebook one day, and Anna came on a live, and I listened to it, and she gave out her personal phone number. I called, she answered the phone, which is so rare, and she answered all of my questions. I enrolled the next day, and I have never regretted a single moment. It has truly been an amazing experience. If you call Anna, she answers. If you call Pam, she answers. I love the community. You are never alone after you enroll with IDLM. It is truly a community and a support system that does not exist anywhere else. They will walk beside you through your journey and help you in any way possible. It really is quite an amazing group of people to be connected to. It is really a tribe. It really is a tribe.
Thank you so much, and it means the world. And Rosanna Ro has helped us with helping in the movement as well. A lot of our students and our graduates come in and they volunteer as well. So it's really, when we say community, it really is a community. You know, Ro has even helped when Lindy was sick one time. Poor Lindy had gotten sick. She's our grief doula instructor. And we have our grief, you know, we hold our space for our grief support. I called Rose, like, can you help? She's like, sure. And so I knew she had everything she needed to help support that group because of her background and working and being so closely knit with us, you know. So that's what it's all about, is we all come together as a community to support one another and to help each other along this journey. But I'd like to open up. Does anybody, thank you, Rose, so much. Does anybody have any questions?
Of course I do. I have, well, it's two, but it's in your previous slides, in the first couple of slides, you had something that was called Angel Vigil Watches, and then also Doula Deck. What are those two things?
So Angel Vigil Watch is what I call when I go in. A lot of times I find, you know, not every doula will do bedside or vigiling, and that's okay. But I do find that a lot of my elderly clients that maybe don't have any children, or maybe they're too far to have anybody around them, that's where I will provide support around the clock with them. Again, it's something that not every doula does. It's completely up to you and what you want to include in your practice. But it's just really sitting vigil and helping them and guiding them and saying, oh, now they're having apnea, you know, this is what that is. See, what they stop, you know, they have periods without breathing, and explaining things and really walking them through the whole entire process and educating them right there at their bedside with them. The Death Deck, Noah Deck, those are card games that help get the conversation started on advanced planning and end of life wishes. So it's really a great deck. There's the EOL, which is just beginning to talk about the end of life stuff. And then the Death Deck is a little bit more directed about end of life. But it's both a card game. And so we have a lot of different partnerships. You can see all of our partnerships on our website. I just mentioned we just got a new partnership with Karen Ann Quinlan Hospice. I don't know if any of y'all are familiar with that, but Karen Ann Quinlan, back in the 80s, it was a big thing that went on. It was very publicized about end of life wishes and all of that. So we're very, very happy to have a partnership with them. We work with a lot of other hospices here in San Antonio as well, and across, you know, just across the board that we do. But yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.